Going on, guys? It is MurderInc here, back with another Raid Shadow Legends video, and today we're going to be talking about hot take on it. Urogrim, he was nerfed. I did some tests with the nerfed version, so you guys know what to expect when this goes live, where you can use him, which dungeons he can still solo, which ones he can't. I'm going to tell you right now, as a disclaimer, everything's pretty much the same. The gear requirements just went up. And I don't want to take away from the nerf. I know there's a lot of really upset people about this, and I think some of them are upset for the wrong reasons, but they are rightfully upset for this fact. So let me go ahead and play the first run we're going to talk about here, which is going to be Dragon Stage 25. I'll have this on in the background while I'm going over a few key points. So the first thing I want to talk about is anytime Plarium nerfs a champion, that means they made a mistake. So don't take this and get really offended. I know there's a lot of emotional people out there. Some of them a bit on the toxic side, but I'm okay with that. And they just want the world to burn. No help to some content creators. And listen, I understand how this game works. Clickbait, low effort, it makes money. It really does. It makes money. It gets views. So people saying Urogrim's not viable, people are going to click on it. Of course, they're going to get riled up. They're going to watch it for longer. It's a YouTube tactic. I'm a little disappointed they didn't actually test the champions before they said that, but like I said, everyone's got to make money. I'm not here to kind of say how people should be doing their job. But with that being said, I'm going to show you how this guy works here. As we can see, he's doing a pretty fine job as it is in stage 25. The runs are going to be longer. The gear set's pretty much the same. I did run this with 2 different gear sets just in case people want other options for this champion. The nerf was noticeable, like I said, but I don't want to say it wasn't too crazy because it was a pretty aggressive nerf. But if you really look at the game, this champion is an epic champion. Should he have been soloing stage 25 dungeons? Probably not. We can all agree on that. Should they have nerfed him way sooner? Yeah, I think that's pretty fair to say. He wasn't in a 10 times event, so I've seen a lot of people saying that for some reason. Maybe it's the Mandela effect at work here, but back to my original point. Anytime a champion's too strong, it's Plarium's mistake, no doubt about it. So people are feeling robbed by this for sure. So if you really want to be mad, this isn't going to be the place for you. Luckily, most of my viewers aren't too upset about this because they do understand what the nerf was and how it's going to affect things. And I did mention it in the last video that I did. This nerf really is going to affect people who weren't using it in the way that most players were using it for. Simple progression. If you're using this champion with a seer for the buffs, of course everyone's going to lose 1 buff, reducing seer's damage overall. That's going to be a huge impact. Clan boss, continuous heal on clan boss, 1 stack compared to 2 stacks. Yes, there's an argument to be made there. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough healing to wipe you that much earlier. His damage is going to decrease for sure. That's pretty obvious based on the amount of poisons, but as we can see here, stage 25, really consistent. The gear isn't too crazy. The dragon's the easy part, so now that I showed you the waves here, there's not really much to go over. Let's just skip ahead here to the gear that I use. So if you want to redo this, you can use this. Alright guys, so here is the gear I used. One thing I do want to note, and I did point it out in this video, I'm actually using flat stack gloves here just to show you that this champion isn't very hard to gear even after this nerf did come into effect here. So with that being said, let's go ahead and skip to the total stats I used. I am using a frenzy set here. Frenzy was the meta before this nerf happened. It's going to remain the meta for Urogrim soloing after it happens. But as far as total stats, we have 61,000 health, 3.3 thousand defense, 263 speed, so a bit higher than you'd probably normally see, 294 resistance, 246 accuracy. Accuracy is a bit high for this content, but this is where my gear landed me. So these stats are going to still be pretty reasonable. Like I did already say, I'm going to show you another version of this team, not using frenzy gear, so you can kind of compare what you would need if you don't have frenzy, but you should probably get frenzy. I'm going to let you know right now. As far as mastery goes, masteries are going to be the same that most people use. Healing Savior, of course, is going to be a good talent, so I did not use War Master. I did not use, well, of course, Giant Slayer, now that it's a 2-hit instead of a 1-hit, because damage isn't a problem. Like I said, those things are really good for bosses, and you're never going to struggle with bosses with a crazy poisoner, because he still is a crazy poisoner like Urogrim. So these are the masteries that I would go to if you are pursuing this overall, and it is going to yield you the most consistent results on stage 25 of Dragon. Alright, so now that we went over that, let's go ahead over the Next gear set that I want to talk about here, full speed gear, none of the crazy gear sets you do have to farm on your own. The stats are going to be a little bit different. 284 speed, so significantly higher than we did see before. 67,000 health, 3.4 thousand defense, crit rate, crit damage, resistance, accuracy, all relatively the same, as well as the masteries, that didn't change at all. So if you did want to go without frenzy gear and wanted to go the straight speed route, this is what you can do as far as your gear. Now, it's not just dragon that this guy can solo, which brings up to the question, what are the other dungeons this guy can solo? As we can see here, hopefully that's not too small. You know what, I'm just going to do a full screen here. The first one is going to be Arcane Keep. You can solo Arcane Keep. I did all of this with the frenzy gear, I believe. I could have done this with the speed gear, I'm not too sure. Both gear sets will work for this. So first we have the Arcane Keep, the second we have the Force Keep, third dungeon we have is the Magic Keep. As far as the Green Keep, I'm not sure if people were doing this before. I didn't personally use Urogrim for this soloing method, but if you wanted to use him for the Green Keep, you have to add other champions because he cannot out damage the heal. I think most champions can't solo that. I could be wrong, you guys can let me know in the comments about that. But this is the stage 25 dragon run with the current gear that you're seeing with the speed gear. Time's a bit different, damage, healing is a bit different. However, it's still going to be consistent across the board. If you're interested in Ice Golem, soloing Ice Golem is an extremely endgame thing to do. It takes top tier gear. I would honestly only run with frenzy gear. I don't think there's another option to do, especially after this nerf here. However, Urogrim plus another champion that offers some survivability is going to be very easy to tackle these dungeons with if you want to continue using him. Ice Golem isn't that popular. However, the resistance meta is becoming stronger and stronger with the champion Ramantu for platinum players, so Ice Golem may be something that you want to farm along with Dreadhorn Bommel. So if you are in fact looking to use Urogrim in an Ice Golem run, pair him with Sile of Drake. She doesn't need crazy gear, she just has to be able to survive throughout the rounds. Give her a stun set, give her relentless, whatever you want to do. Her gear requirements aren't going to be high. I already used Urogrim with the current fusion champion, and I provided a duo of Urogrim and Sigmund, making Ice Golem stage 25 look like a piece of cake, so you can use him as well. But there are going to be 50 if not 100 other options of champions, rare, epic, legendary, that you can use with Urogrim now to consistently farm Ice Golem, even with this current nerf state. So with that being said, hopefully this puts some people's mind at ease that he can do literally everything he was doing before with some minor increases in gear. Like I did mention, people who are going to suffer the most are people who are using this champion with Seer. The damage is going to be lower based on the amount of buffs he does provide to the team. Clan Boss, his damage is going to drop significantly. And are you right to be mad about the nerf? Absolutely. Like I said, anytime Plarium nerfs any champion, we've seen it with Rhodos, we've seen it with Rain Beast, we've seen it with stage 25 dungeons and the Doom Tower nerfing enemy max health. That was a gigantic nerf, much bigger than Urogrim, and people were still upset. So anytime Plarium has to nerf content, make content harder so people can't cheese things, it's a flaw in their personal game design that they didn't anticipate when they were releasing a champion like this, or any gameplay that is relevant to this. So you definitely have the right to be upset. Should they handle nerfs differently? Probably I would refund people if they really wanted it, as far as the investment that did go into Urogrim, if the champion is truly unplayable. However, I'm pretty sure we all understand by now that Plarium isn't going to be doing that. Alright guys, that's going to conclude my video today on Urogrim. Hopefully this helped you all if you do plan on using this champion post nerf. I would assume you would be if you're using him to solo dungeons, because he's still going to be just as effective. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this content, smash that like button, subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss my next uploads, and I will see you all in the next video.